Now let's begin the conversation. Rumours, when left unchecked, can lead to misinformation and trigger avoidable confusion. To avoid this, the Lagos State House of Assembly is pushing back against claims circulating online suggesting that the legislature budgeted some funds for the purchase of houses in Abuja for its members in the 2026 Appropriation Act. In a statement, the Assembly leadership said the rumour is part of deliberate misinformation aimed at discrediting the institution and misleading the public. It clarified that the House does not operate in Abuja, describing the suggestion as illogical, irrational, and irresponsible. All right, gentlemen, another era, another issue of rumour, here and there. But let me start with you. What specifically, triggered the rumour about the Abuja housing, and where do you think it originated from?
Well, I saw a video where that claim was made, and was shocked when I heard it. And my first instinct was to check, because the man who did that video claimed that it's in the budget, that we should go and check the budget, that those items he mentioned were listed there. And I wasn't sure that it could have been right. And I'm going to offer you reasons for that, beyond just checking the budget itself. There was a time there was a law, so to say, in Lagos State that former governors should be given houses in Abuja and Lagos. They should get 6 vehicles per electoral cycle, which is every 4 years, and some huge sum of money as we saw it then. This same house, under the same leadership of Speaker Mudashiru Obasa, said no, it's time to review this. That was in 2021. The houses for the former governors in Abuja and Lagos abolished. The number of cars from 6 was reduced to 3 by the House Committee on Establishment, Training and Pension, headed by member Yinka Ogundemu, Honorable Yinka Ogundemu. The things that came to my mind at that point was, I don't like the Cybercrime Act of 2015, but the thing that came to my mind was, this must be some of the things the legislators...
Exactly.
Because at the time that thing was brought to the fore, it also involved issues of lawmakers at the federal level buying themselves vehicles every year, getting wardrobe allowance, all of that at that time. So it just doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up.
It doesn't.
I mean, Tunde, this is a very, very, this is mischief making at its best here. But do you think there should be legal consequences, for persons who deliberately spread false information?
Well, we know that Nigeria is a country where we are in a habit of repeating ourselves or allowing history to repeat itself. And in any electoral calendar, there's always room for mischief and for people to push things beyond the ordinary. I refuse to believe that a normal citizen will go out of his way to sit down somewhere and concoct things that are not possible or that are not defensible within the limits. Because by the narration Dr. has given, it is always very illogical and unthinkable that a house that did something 5 years ago will now go back and revert itself without the atmosphere. Because the atmosphere has not justified why they have to do that.
Exactly.
So to that extent, it is unreasonable and illogical. But that, until we begin to make a sample, right, what is happening in Lagos State a similar thing is happening in Ogun State. But we begin to make example of people who think they can take the liberty of the social media, who think they can take the liberty of the freedom of the press to oppress the next person because of political differences or whatever differences we have. I think we have to do something about that. We have to do something. We have to make examples of people in a judicial and legal way to put a stop to that thing, which means anybody can sit in the corners of his room
and
abuse the system and just spread. And you see, what led to the genocide in Rwanda in 1993 are things like this. It's only because Nigerians are very patient people and we are not easy to rush to judgment. Because at this point in time in the life of a nation, now you ask yourself in the first instance, what jurisdiction does Abuja has in the affairs of Lagos? Lagos used to be a former federal capital. And when you now go and build a house for a former legislature in Abuja, to serve what purpose? You see, because you have to be logical to serve and for what reason. And the same house outlawed the building of houses for governors and deputy governors. And that is still probably 2023 or 20. So how can you now go
2021?
So how can you now go back again and do the same thing? At this period in time when Nigerians believe that those people who are up are oppressing the rest there, you can use the money because naturally to build a house in Abuja, probably you cannot spend less than
it's quite pricey,
50 million naira.
No. Even the land alone.
Land alone in Abuja.
Because those kind of houses are in prime areas.
Multiply that by the number of members of the Lagos House Assembly, and that 40. One will be repeated every 4 electoral calendar, because which means you have the opportunity of being a member of the House. You have a house in Abuja. I think it is not too reasonable, and there should be consequences. And I think the House owe it a duty to make sure that this case is pursued to the logical
and not swept under the carpet.
And not swept under the carpet, so that the public can begin to restore confidence in the ability of the House to wash its hands clean of every other thing.
Absolutely.